a quick and easy conversion, both in reality and model form. In 1986, British Railways at the time decided that they needed a rake of courier vans converted from BSK coaches, brake corridors. Equally so, about 86 days ago, a friend of mine asked me if I could do this conversion on a Bachmann coach, and unlike the railway, at little to no cost. I may have mentioned this before, but when undertaking sort of commission style work, you need to get a proper spec. You need to know how much detail you can or can't leave off. For me, it was quite easy on this one because I was told no additional detail that would outsmart the base model, if that makes any sort of sense. So I started by stripping down the coach into its constituent parts: the chassis, the sides and the roof. As always, when dealing with conversions on Bachmann coaches, the hardest part of getting the whole thing apart is the water filler handrails that clip into the body. Once removed, we can slip out the moulding for the internal seats and then unclip the sides from the roof. Before I start the conversion by cutting the sides or anything like that, I'm just going to mention that I did find on eBay somebody selling a conversion kit for this NNX coach. The price is very reasonable and it's £10 or £20 depending on the level of detail that you want to put on. I'm quite confident I can do it for zero budget, utilising spare parts off of other kits and projects. I don't have the exact measurements for the roller shutter door that needs to be cut out of the sides, but using multiple reference pictures I made a damn good guess. That cutout occupies one window bay, so I discarded the glazing from that bay and then filed flat the detail on the other glazing units that needed to be blanked off. Luckily for me, I was doing a vehicle that was converted in blue and grey, so I didn't need to repaint, but I did need to protect the finish that was already on the coach because I didn't want to repaint all of that. Trusty razor saw in hand, chopping out, very easy. You could probably do this on an older, cheaper Hornby coach and you'd probably end up cutting through the whole of the side. But the way that the Bachmann coach is constructed, you can just leave the top and bottom rails. I measured and cut a piece of styrene sheet to fit behind the roller shutter doors as a sort of backfill blanking plate. Set in place and left for a few hours for the glue to fully cure, that restored the structural integrity that we diminished by cutting out the roller shutting door. That allowed me to chop out a little bit more of the top rail on the coach side so that the roller shutter door would go fully to the top. And I constructed the roller shutter door out of embossed plastic, which was 2mm scale corrugated iron. Bachmann coaches are marketed as flush glazed, and they are sort of. They are actually slightly recessed. For the windows that needed blanking out, I used some filler pieces that brought the glazing unit flush to the outside of the coach sides, and then another piece of 10 thou plasticard cut to size with the corners slightly rounded and then glued in place with some Tamiya extra thin cement. One of the blanked off windows has a vent in it, and I thought I was going to really struggle with this one, but I managed to find in my spares box an etched grill that fitted in really quite well, held in place with some super glue. A mixture of rail match and Tamiya greys got me very close to the grey on the Bachmann coach. I used the same method for the blue, which was rail match blue and Tamiya black. All brush painted, and I think I just about got away with it. One base coat and one top coat. I think I've shown you how to take the numbering and lettering off of Bachmann coaches before using a cocktail stick. A bit of gentle rubbing. At first it seems it's not going to work, but eventually a little bit chips off and the rest of it literally just falls off, leaving us a nice clean surface to put our transfers on. And I got these ones from Railtech because they have the exact number and lettering for the vehicle that I was actually trying to portray. Applied in the usual way and then sealed in with some satin varnish got me to a point where I could start putting the coach back together. And that brought up one issue. Because we'd altered the inside surfaces of the coach sides, I needed to chop just a tiny piece off of the seating moulding. Now, a few of you might pull me up on not chopping out the entire seating bays, but I say you can't see it, so you don't need to. The roof and the handrails clipped back into place. I thought I'd just do a couple of enhancements on the underframe, which was a step board underneath the roller shutter and some air brake equipment, a cylinder tank and distributor. Now these coaches were vacuum fitted from new, and the addition of air brake equipment means that I should have altered the brake linkages, but because there's none shown on the base model, I felt I didn't need to do that either, which means I can call this project done. It's not one that I would normally take on, but one-offs for a friend to divert my attention from my normal drab corporate image stuff, and the opportunity also to run some colourful trains. Well, not mine. I had to go to the shop and borrow some stock, and it fitted in really well. Took me back to when I first started on the railway, where you could see a parcels train of 8 coaches in 5 different liveries. Back soon with more of the same. For now, thanks for watching. See you next time.